August 24th. Hey, Thomas. Yes, Joan Hunter is my grandmother on my mother's side. I will see what I can do about building my family tree. My wife and I have been living with her, taking care of her for the last 6 months. Hopefully I will be able to help. And then I was like, oh my God, you just made my day. I hope Joan's doing okay. I apologize for the all caps. I'm just so excited. I was about crying. And she had filled out her family tree. And on the side, it had, on like her grandma's side, it had Shep, but it was spelled T-S-H-E-P-P-E. My grandmother's birth certificate, I said, was Ann Shep, S-H-E-P-P-E, no T. All this time I'd been searching for Ann Shep with an S, not Ann Shep with a T. And so Zoe sent back like, hi again. So Marie Shep is my grandmother's mother, and Marie's siblings were Fred, Victor, and Angela, aka Ann, or as my grandma, we call her Granny. Granny calls her Aunt Annie. My uncle was here last night. We talked and he informed me that Aunt Annie actually had a baby as a teenager that was put up for adoption. That was pretty much up, as she was born in 1918, and your grandfather was adopted in 1932, even though she would have been only 14. And really she would have been like 15 at the time because she was like an older one. But so Angela Shep was born January 17th, 1917 in Los Angeles, California. She had passed away in February 1992. I didn't get any more follow-up. That was the last message that I had with Zoe. But that set it off in a sense of like, oh my God, like I found his mom. And at that point, there was like a lot of like crazy emotions. It was like this crazy like rush, like now what? And it was like I had just won a championship game. It was like such a crazy like rush of like feeling. And so my wife was like super happy for me. I had called my great aunt Martha, who had been helping me this whole time, the one who was actually connected to the stories, who was connected with Malcolm.
Well, good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning to you. Hey, I got some good news, some crazy news for you.
What's that?
I was able to track down, so long crazy story. Should I just tell you? It'll take me 5 minutes. You'll love it. It's like twists and turns.
I've got lots of time. Go ahead.
Annie actually had a baby as a teenager that was put up for adoption. She was born in 1918, so she was 14 years old. It's done.
My gosh.
Yeah. So there's
They don't know her.
the dad, right? I don't know. So that's like, so they don't know the father. I don't know that part yet. I asked that question because I was like the next one, and I haven't got a response yet. And they can try to go, like they can help me with that. And if they don't, I'm actually like feel like I'm like suffice to say that I'm like found that line.
You did good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I mean, you could.
It'd be fascinating to find out.
Yeah, because that aha moments where you didn't, you know, in a mystery.
I argue with my son. I called them divine providence. He calls it a coincidence, and we get along just fine. Thank God before that link was gone forever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love you, and then I'll
Love
let you go and talk to you later.
And we'll stay in touch.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye, Martha.
Bye.
She was sweet, because she had wanted to know too, but our family was so deep in rumors and gossip about like who Papa Pete could have been like from. It could have been some rich uncle in Los Angeles who had some love child that was passed along. Oh, look at how his nose is. That's exactly how that runs in the Story family. Oh, we've seen this before. It could have been somebody from Kentucky. Malcolm had brought back some of the stories from Kentucky sometimes, and you never know with these family members. So there was always like the rumors that my grandpa was still from the Story family, which had driven a lot of that privilege, I guess, from our family, of like entitlement or just that pride and feeling and identity of being somebody that has this blood in them of like these heroes and courageous Western folk. So after that, the thought was like, oh my gosh, like you can maybe find the dad, but that wasn't even a thought. That wasn't even going to be like like at that point my search was over. um I didn't really need to go back into the family with the Sheps. I could kind of do my own research. I could find out some stuff. I could Ferdinand Shep was like a war hero and was buried in Los Angeles. It wasn't a war hero, but it was a veteran of the Spanish American War. um, they were in New York, and they were Germans and had made their way out to, California. They worked in the oil industry, had lived in LA and kind of stayed in LA. And so Mary, went on to have kids. Angela ended up remarrying, but never did have kids later. And I don't know their stories. At that point, you're just kind of like inferencing like stories through like high school pictures or some news article in a paper or some divorce, notification sort of deal. Um, so it kind of went on, and I was good with that, and I thought I could pick up the father some other time. It was like the goal had already been done. Um, I had marked. I went to who was ever connected with Joan Hunter, and then I marked them as Sheps, and so now I just had one section, um, who I had called Reinhold, um, and then was going to continue that later on. Future forward about October, and I had just kind of found out that other information in September, and then in October I got another pop-up from a first to second cousin on the paternal side that was not connected to Joan Hunter.